Okay, I'm going to start off this little revision series by looking at the difference between a class and an instance or object of that class and how to make one. And the example I'm going to start off with is a class called human being and how to make a human being. So I'm just going to briefly go into Eclipse and I'm going to start a brand new package. Well, I've just made one actually. I'm going to start a new file, new class. I'm going to call this one human being. And I'm actually going to take instead of typing all of these out by hand, I'm going to take the attributes or the fields of this from an example which we've already done. So I'm just going to go up here. There we go. Our class human being is just going to have, well, a couple of fields in it. I'm going to zoom in there so you can see. So a human being has a first name, a last name, an age, and a weight. Okay, now, first thing to learn is that these by default are all public, so they can be seen by everyone. I'm gonna show that in a second. I'm gonna make as we usually do, I'm gonna make a tester class. So another class which I could call anything, but I'm just gonna call it tester. And this one does need to have a main because I'm going to be running this class. If you see inside here, I'm just going to say human being. Let's call him H, so I don't have to think of a name, equals new human being with a double bracket at the end, which means it's going to run the default constructor. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. So let's just try that. Nothing is going to happen. All that is going to do is it's going to create a human being. There we go. Finished. Now, after I've created that human being in my code, I can do certain things about him. If I say H, it will instantly, it'll instantly give me a list of all of the things that human being has. So I can say h.firstname equals Ken, and h.lastname equals McClure, and h.age equals 100. There we go. And from that point onwards, not only have I created a human being in my code, but I've also set some of the attributes or the fields about him. But you can see that as soon as I type in the instance name of that human being object which I've created, it gives me a list of all the things which you can see inside here, all of the variables. And equally, if I had a method in there, for example, if I said void speak, which doesn't accept any parameters, and I'm just going to say system out print line hello world, and I can even say from, and then I'll put my first name in there. There we go. Tie that up a bit. I'm going to run that tester. You can see instantly, well, I need to call this method first. Look, h.speak. There we go. So when I run this code now, it will say hello world from Ken. It's created a human being object, which it's called H. It set the first name to Ken, it set the last name to McClure, and set the age to 100, and then it's called its speak method, which if I look at the definition of that inside the human being, there it is. All it does is print hello world. Okay, now, in terms of language, the class name is, and the class type is human being. The new keyword is what creates a new instance of that class. And the variable name H contains a reference to that particular instance. These are fields of the instance of the human being instance, which is called Ken McClure, and this is a method. Now, if we want to think of these in general terms, this is state because it's a variable, this is state because it's a variable, this is state because it's a variable, and this is behavior because it's a method. and Eclipse doesn't seem to like the English-British spelling of behavior. Never mind. Okay. Now, the only thing I want you to take away from this very, very first lesson is that a tester class with a main function is usually used because it has a static void main, which is the only method which can actually be run in Java, unless it's an applet, which we'll get into later. And we create an instance of an object, and then we can set its attributes, call it, which are state, call its behavior, and then finish off, and that's the end of our program. Inside the human being class, forget about package for now because I'm just dividing this tutorial up into packages. A class contains either variables, which are state, or methods, which are behavior. And the only word in Java which dynamically allocates memory and creates a new object or instance is the keyword new.